This trial by hunger was about to lead Abram into one of the most tense episodes of his journey, revealing both his fallibility and God's protective grace. After some time in Canaan, Abram faced his first major test. A severe famine struck the land. Genesis 12:10 rainfall in Canaan could be unpredictable, and droughts were not uncommon in antiquity. This famine was serious enough to make staying put impossible. The grass withered, water holes dried up, and Abram's flocks and herds were in jeopardy. Imagine Abram's dilemma. He had followed God to this promised land, only to find it seemingly unable to sustain him. It must have raised difficult questions. Where was the blessing in a land that couldn't feed his family? Was this a punishment or simply a trial of faith? In such crises, ancient peoples often migrated to survive, and Abram was no exception. Abram decided to go down to Egypt, a natural refuge in times of Canaanite famine. The Nile's irrigation made Egypt the breadbasket of the region, often able to supply grain when rain-fed lands like Canaan went barren. This decision shows Abram using practical wisdom. However, the biblical narrative leaves open whether Abram sought God's direction in this move or acted on his own. Regardless, the famine forced Abram to become a refugee in search of food, a humbling experience after the assurances of prosperity. The famine serves as an interesting narrative pivot. It tested Abram's faith in God's promise. Is this really the land of blessing if we have to leave it to survive? And set the stage for a new kind of challenge. Often in life, a calling gets tested by adversity. Here, the promised land itself was inhospitable, pushing Abram to seek relief elsewhere. Theologically, it's a subtle reminder that being in God's will doesn't exempt one from hardship. In fact, hardships can serve a purpose in the larger story. The famine drove Abram into a situation that would expose his fears and God's faithfulness in a new way. This trial by hunger was about to lead Abram into one of the most tense episodes of his journey, revealing both his fallibility and God's protective grace.